Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People Show. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and today I am humbled to have Mr. Steve here with me. Mr. Steve is a presenter, a comedian, and an artist. Mr. Steve, I want to thank you so much for taking your time to come on the Us People Show. How are you? Yeah, I think you're muted, Mr. Steve.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm on. I'm on. How are you?
I am well. How are you? Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
No, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. So, Mr. Steve, my
Yeah,
first
thank you.
question for you is, could you tell me a bit about yourself, where you grew up, and how that influenced you to be the person who you are today?
Okay, yeah, basically, I'm from a small town somewhere in Delta State, Nigeria. That was where I was born. And it's called Delta State. It's a small state in Nigeria. And
Mm,
one of the things that is most synonymous with Delta State is a state where comedy lives on the streets.
I like that.
Every young man that grows up in Warri, there's this small city in Delta State in Nigeria that is called Warri. I don't know if you've heard about that before, but every comedian in Nigeria, one way or the other, you will hear that name, Warri, in their mouth. So
Okay.
I grew up on the streets of Warri, and one of the things that's synonymous there is every young man is funny.
Yes.
The accent, the way they speak, the their gestures, mannerism, everything about the Warri boy
Mm-hmm.
is funny. All right. So when you grow up in that kind of environment, I mean, what else? Though I never thought I was going to be a comedian. I was actually a gospel music minister when I started up.
Ah,
I was doing gospel music in church, choir, and all that. It was when I got to college, it's called university in Nigeria,
yeah.
um, that I started talking to students, new students that are, you know, uh, new students that come into school. You need to give them orientation. So
Yes.
basically, what I do, I started giving new students orientation. I get to a classroom. Classrooms in Nigeria is not like classrooms sorry for that break. So growing up in those days in Nigeria, the universities used to be very rough. So you have to get on the decks and talk to the students. How
Yes.
do you do that? You start by telling a story, a funny story, and that would captivate them to listen to you. So
Mm.
that was how I started up. I tell funny stories and they listen to me, and then I pass the message across to them. And before you know what's happening, I was being invited for little birthday gigs, picnic gigs, and all that. And that was how, yeah. So, so
Mm.
that's basically that. Yeah,
Well, we cut out there for a second. So, well, I love the story there because you found your purpose of how you wanted to become a comedian. And
yeah,
the most beautiful thing is that the streets always show you, the streets make you streetwise regardless,
yeah, yeah,
but it
yeah.
also shows you the pathway in which you want to take it, but also how you can ground yourself within it to become what
Basically,
you need to become. I love that.
basically,
So my
basically.
second question for you is, can you tell me what you see, how you see yourself in the mirror? What does your reflection say to you as a person? But on the flip side of that purpose, I should say, Has there ever been a time where you have looked in the mirror and not recognized the person staring back at you, Mr. Steve? How did you manage to go from a person that you may not have liked the vision of seeing to becoming the person that has evolved and the person that you wanted to become?
Yeah, so basically, first of all, before you become the person that you
Mhm.
desire to be, you need to speak to yourself. You need to speak to your inward
Very true.
self.
Yes, I
So
agree.
basically, yeah, when I look in the mirror, I first of all speak to my inward self because my inward self, first of all, recognizes my identity as a person.
I
All
agree.
right. Yeah. So, and that is what you graduate out and then you project it for and for people to see and recognize that, okay, this is your personality.
Mhm.
So when I look in the mirror, I see a young man that is passionate about what he does, a young man that have decided never to give up, irrespective of the challenging terrain that we find ourselves in our country. You
Yes.
know, I see a young man that has decided to push through every challenge to become who he wants to be. And of
Mm.
course, you know, you need to encourage yourself first before you get encouragement from people.
That is
You need
true.
to, yeah, you need to push yourself first before you get people to push you.
Hmm.
So I tell myself every time, Steve, you've got to push yourself. You've
Hmm.
got to keep pushing. And then people see that you're pushing and then they get to push you through. All right. So anytime I look at the mirror, you know, I tap myself in the back and you've not gotten to where you're supposed to be, but keep pushing. This is who you are and this is what you're
Yeah.
going to do, you know. So basically that's the motivation whenever I look in the mirror. Yeah.
See, this is what I love, the fact that you can, a lot of people deny who they are as beings.
Mm,
And they
definitely.
and it takes a long time to process who you are, who you want to become and how you want to become
you
it because
you see one thing about life is we're
mm,
surrounded by diverse kind of influence.
very
You
true.
understand? Yeah, we have physical influence and also we have supernatural influences. You know, so most times people grow up into certain kind of influence and then they forget about their identity. All
Yes.
right. Yeah, but I'm not I've decided not to be one of those. So I don't allow my environment to influence me. You know, who I am should influence my environment and the people around me. So basically, that's it.
Talk to me about comedy now because you have to have an extreme amount of confidence to be able to go on stage, to be able to judge the energy, the auras of people in
Yeah,
front of you,
basically, growing
to
up,
know.
I used to be.
Oh, we cut out for a second, guys. Mr. Steve will come back to us in a second. This is the beauty of technology.
Yeah, are you with me?
I'm with you. I'm with you, Mr.
Yeah,
Steve. I am here. I can
yeah,
see you.
yeah. So basically, at the age of 10, I started debating.
Oh, we've lost him again. He'll come back to us, guys. He'll come back to us. Just give it a second.
So I got to do this.
You there, Stephen? Hello, Mr. Steve. You there?
Oh my God.
Oh, let's have a look. So this is the one thing I love about technology. You never know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
I'm doing an event, so a lot of interruption. Yeah. Okay. So basically, growing up, I debate in church. I'm
Yes.
always part of a debate, and that actually built up my confidence.
Okay.
As a young man growing up. So basically, I love talking to people. So I got that confidence from when I was a teenager. All right. So
Right.
I love addressing people. I love talking to people. So when it got to that point to take the talking business as a career, it wasn't
Yes.
much of a problem for me. Yeah, basically. Yeah, so that's where we started from. That's how we started building.
Talk to me about vulnerability on stage, because this is one of the things that I would love to ask comedians, because how important is it to you to be vulnerable as a comedian, and how does it boost your confidence, and when you're sharing personal stories? I'm definitely going to ask you to share a personal story with me, because I love storytelling and how it, especially how you articulate it and how it will be told. But how do you use your vulnerability as a means to help with your confidence?
Yeah. Basically, everyone should be, if you are a comedian and someone that addresses people, all
Mm,
right, you should be able to, when you get to a certain point, or you get to, let me put it this way, you get to an event, you need to put yourself into the people's mind. All right. Normally, when I get to an event, before I perform, I try to observe what is happening. I try to assess the people's mind. And
mm,
then when I get on stage, I try to put myself, you know, I try to put myself in a position that will be acceptable for
mm,
the people that I'm speaking with. So it's very, very key for a comedian, you know, that when you get to a place, sit down first and try to read, the people's mind, their reactions. There are certain things that might happen before you get on stage.
true.
All right. Yeah. So those are the things that you put into consideration when you are about to perform. So that helps you a lot to manage that.
How does your sense of humor help you when you're on stage as well? Because talk to me about some of the stories that you tell on stage, and
Yeah.
how you connect with people.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely when you get to a certain place, people are diverse in their culture, and because they are diverse in their culture, you approach it from that angle of diversity.
Mm,
Okay. So normally it depends on. So I try to be diverse in my presentation. So if I have
yes.
a certain tribe, a certain culture, I try to fit in. All right. I bring something that is similar to that culture, to that tradition, to that region, and that is what I use in my comedy. You understand? So
Yeah.
basically, when you're going to a certain region or a certain place, you need to research on what is it that triggers stuff to happen in this area. What is this? What is that? What is that? So you put it together. So when you're talking and you're talking stuff that is based on their culture, their tradition, all right, they easily flow. They
Yes.
easily flow with you because they feel wow, this guy knows us. This guy knows us and all that. So it helps you to channel your humor towards that direction.
Who have been some of your inspirations in your life that has helped you to be able to articulate your personality, but also gain that confidence so you can transcend that, not just to people who are in front of you, but to yourself in evolving and becoming the person that you want to?
Yeah, first of all, my inspiration is God.
I love that.
you know my inspiration is God. God should be the first inspiration of every man because He knows exactly why he created you, your purpose. So when you find that purpose, you need to draw inspiration constantly from him. There are
Mm.
sometimes that you want to articulate things in your you want to articulate things using your human uh, mental calculations, or
Correct.
sometimes it fails you. Yeah, it
Hmm.
fails you. So most times, before you get on stage, or before you get into an event, you just pray to God
Hmm.
to inspire you on the right way to go. Now, I give you an instance. There are certain events that are so tough, so
Mm.
tight, that you try to break the people in terms of humor, and they are not yielding.
Mm.
I've gone to an event with a friend, and that my friend is extremely funny. So he was to perform before me, and he was performing, and the people were not responsive. They were not responding to his humor. And I was saying, if this my friend that is this funny, you know, can be, this event can be so tight for him.
Well, give it a second. Stephen will come back to us.
Like this, what do I do? So
Oh, Mr.
while I
Steve, you're
was
cutting up with us. Stephen, you still with us? Guys, just give him a second. He'll be back with us.
seated there,
I'm here. I'm here.
and watching.
Oh, okay. So Mr. Steve just jumped off. So what we'll do is we'll just give him a minute just to come back. And what I'll do in the meantime is just remind you guys of where you can see us and listen to the Ask People podcast. It's mad because when you're having interviews, you never know what's going to happen and you never know how it's going to happen. But the beautiful thing is that time and patience allows someone to come back on, and then we'll do the rest of the interview. So one thing I do want to say is thank you for listening and always tuning in to the Ask People show, which is on every Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time. You can also see us on Apple TV, Fire TV, and any platform of your choice. You can also check out the Ask People podcast, which is on every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we bring out a brand new podcast for you guys to listen to. So join in and listen, and we'll definitely get there. So let's just give Mr. Steve a second so he can jump back in and have a conversation with us. It seems that the audio is quite bad today. So, but if we hang in there, we'll just give him a second. Oh, let's have a look. He's laughing already.
Ah, you see, these are some of the things. Anyway, it's well with our country.
Oh, you know the funny
So,
thing is the funny thing is the other day I did an interview with somebody and we got cut off about 12 times. And it's mad. And I always say that everything happens for a reason, right?
it's well.
And and even if you get cut off with someone, it doesn't always mean that, you have to stop, because sometimes it can be more spiritual things. It can be energy. It can be, network. It can be so many other things.
Mm.
But the thing that I actually love doing is doing the show, regardless of how far people are. So thank you for coming back on, Stephen.
Yeah, it's fine.
And
It's fine.
no, it's
Yeah,
totally okay.
it's fine. Yeah. So I was saying, like I was saying, so my friend was struggling, so I had to just pray to God that please help me. When I handle that microphone, let me know how to break into these people and
Oh, we had it good there for a second.
do this. Just do this. When you do this, you'll break through these people.
Hmm.
And I did exactly that, and that was the icebreaker. It was massive. It was an icebreaker, like everywhere went, so I was like, wow. So God first of all is our inspiration.
Hmm.
We draw inspiration from God basically, so that's it.
That's sometimes that's all you need for you to be able to levitate. And sometimes having God in your life, as people say, because everybody has a different religion, and each religion can save their life in their own unique way. And that's something that I always say to people is so important. Oh, Mr. Steve has frozen again.
Yeah, yeah,
Are you with me, Stephen? Oh, you froze and
yeah,
then you came back
yeah,
again. We're good.
yeah,
We're
I'm
good.
with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
so
That's what I
so
like.
that's it. So that's it. Yeah, that's cool. So that's it. That's
Talk to
that's
me
it.
about music, Stephen. Talk to me about if there was a song that you could choose that was the soundtrack of your life. What song would you choose and why would you choose that particular song? Because I know that you can infuse music in what you do, especially with comedy.
Yeah. God is able to do just what he says he will do. He is gonna fulfill every promise to you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up on God, 'cause he won't give up on you.
Mm-hmm.
He's able. So there's one of my favorite scriptures that whenever, things are difficult and I feel that I need to do better,
Mm-hmm.
I fall back to that scripture. I say, now to him who is able to do exceedingly
Mm-hmm.
abundantly above all that we ever think or imagine, according to the power that works on our inside. So that alone, once I hold that scripture, so basically my life is just a reflection of God's ability that He has put on our inside to express ourselves. Yeah.
I actually like the way that you articulated that. That's a no. It's a beautiful way to articulate the way that how you feel, and regardless of the turmoils that may come in our life, up or down, there is a pathway out. But you must believe it. It's pretty much like you saying that the way you would look at yourself in the mirror to believe in yourself.
Mhm.
It plays a powerful part.
Yeah.
Stephen, what is the best advice that you have ever received from somebody, and how has it helped you to evolve in your life?
Yeah. Uh, you have to do things. Sometimes we tend to pull a lot of people on our paths. That is, you just want to help people because you have a good heart. You want to help this, you want to help everyone. You want to help everyone, even when you know that you need help.
It's true.
So one of my mentors told me, he said, get to the top and then you can pull people up. When you try to pull people on your way up. Now, he is not saying that do not help people. He is not saying that do not, mentor people on your path. All right. But
Mm,
sometimes you get too much into people's affairs. You want to go out of your way. You want to sacrifice for everybody. You're gonna crash.
that's
You
true.
can't do that.
Mhm.
So at that point, I started advising myself, you know, get to push yourself up, then you'll be able to pull other people up. You can't be pulling yourself up and at the same time pulling other people. Everyone that has helped someone, are people that have walked their way to a certain level, and they look back and say, okay, now I can take this along. Let me take this person along. Let me take this person along. So basically, that's it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That
So
makes a lot,
so
a
that
lots of
that
sense. Yeah.
advice, that advice
Mm.
for me, that word kept ringing in my heart. You know,
Yeah.
I made a lot of mistakes, a lot of sacrifices for people, and that affected my own personal goals and visions.
Mm.
You understand? Because there are certain things I was working towards achieving, but at the middle, certain situation with certain people came on board, and I said, okay, let me just pause, let me help this person, let me see how. And at the end of the day, it didn't favor me,
It's true
you
because you're
know.
giving all
So
your energy to someone and you're draining yourself.
yeah, so basically that's it.
See, if there was one question, Stephen, that you wished someone would ask you, but nobody ever has asked you that question, what question would it be and why? He's smiling.
Wow. I can't really think of any question right now. I can't think of any question right now, but sometimes people see you out there. He's a comedian. He's ah, he makes people happy and all that.
Hmm.
And they feel that because you're a comedian, you don't have issues, right? You don't have issues, you don't have challenges, and they'll just see you sometimes. They'll say, why are you like this now? Why are you like this? You know? Do you know that I got the news of my dad's passing
Hmm.
like today, and then the next day I was in a show because I was the one that was putting the show together, and so my dad passed like few days to my show.
Oh man.
You understand? And I still
Mm.
had to do the show because I'd,
Mm.
I'd put in funds, I put in a lot, to make sure that the event happened. And I got the message a day to my show. So, but I
Mm.
had to still go there. I'll perform a little bit, go out there, cry, clean up my tears, come up again and perform. Nobody knew except my very close friends that were planning the event together. They will come outside, console me. I'll wipe my tears. I'll come in, you know. So that was how I did the show until the next day I had to travel home, to my hometown where the whole thing happened. You understand? So at that point, people don't get to understand that, oh, why are you? So is everything okay with you and all that? I know you're a comedian and all stuff. Nobody wants to know.
Mm.
So
Do you
sometimes you
find
just wish somebody would, yeah, go
do
ahead.
you find that being a comedian is a form of therapy for you in a way?
Ah, yeah, sometimes, you know, when I'm in the house with my family and all that, I just want to do stuff that will make them happy. I want to be happy. Yeah. Of course, comedy is a therapy.
Mm.
Comedy is a serious therapy, especially in this environment that we find ourselves. All right. So
Yeah.
I tell people when you want to reduce your high blood pressure, just go
Mm.
to a comedy show. It will help you. 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 I'm telling you. So sometimes some people come to comedy shows and they don't want to laugh. So we just tell them, whether you laugh or you don't laugh, you've paid the gates pass. So it's better you
Yes.
laugh and you help yourself. All right.
Mm.
So
That
basically
is.
that's it. Yeah. So both the performer and the people, they all need therapy. All right. So both the
Mm.
comedian and everyone needs therapy. So you give yourself therapy and then you go out there and give it out to people.
Yeah, I like the way that is. I like the way that. When was the last time that you felt totally at peace with yourself?
At peace with myself.
At peace. At humble
With
peace,
myself.
as they say.
Ah, wow. Okay. In fact, peace is something that is not time. You should not put a certain time to finding peace. All right. You should always find peace with yourself and within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Mm-hmm.
you understand? In every
Yes.
situation, at every moment, try to find peace within yourself. It helps you to perform. It
Yes.
helps you to be productive. It helps you to be, yeah, so always I try to, in the midst of the, like now I'm organizing my show. There's a lot of pressure. There's
Yeah.
a lot of pressure every time, everywhere. People are calling as I'm talking to you now. All right. I'm
Mm-hmm.
receiving a lot of calls, but I had to be on this show. All right. Uh, so basically that's it. My show is in like 48 hours, to my show,
Mm.
but you have to find that peace. You have to find that atmosphere so you can pull yourself together, and that will help you even to be productive. But if you allow everything to get into your head,
Yes.
you're going to miss out. Yeah. So peace is something I find every time. I try to find it every time, and I try to keep it within me. You keep it within you, and so it
Mm.
helps you. Yeah.
Talk to me about success. Everybody has or can define success in a different way. How do
Yeah.
you define success and what does success mean to you?
Yeah. Success is relative to everyone.
Mm.
Everybody defines success the way some people success to them is buying a car, owning a
Mm-hmm.
house,
Mm-hmm.
and all that. So, but for me, success is the impacts. You know, when you leave today, what will people say about you?
Mm.
That tells that you're successful because the cars will go, the houses will go. You know, uh, so for me, success is the impact. People telling your story, people that you've impacted positively. So that is why in my paths, when I come across people, I try to impact them in every means possible. So that's my definition of success.
Tell me about you help so many. I know you were talking about when you had advice and you finding your way to becoming who you want to become and then bringing the people with you. But I've noticed just reading up about you, doing research about you, that you still do help people, you know,
Yeah,
even if you are Mr. Steve and you're Mr. Steve in the middle, and you have all these people around you, you still do organize and help people to give them a platform to
yeah,
go on stage. But how is that mentally for you? Because everybody sees you as this person. Yes, you're Mr. Steve, but how is it mentally for you? And especially as a man to be doing this and helping other people still.
mm. So mentally, it's not easy, but it's something you have to do. You have to keep doing. Like this, my event that is coming up, I'm giving some comedians opportunity to grace my stage.
Mm,
Right? I keep doing it, and I've done it. I've continuously helped up and coming talented and gifted people, not just
mhm.
comedians. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are a lot of them that are doing very well today. They can't tell their comedy story or the story of their comedy career without mentioning Mr. Steve.
Mm,
All right. So it's something that I've consistently done, and I really don't allow it to. Some people they recognize it, some other people don't. You know, but I don't allow it to affect me in any way, affect my my way of thinking or my perception towards people. All
yes.
right. Yeah. So basically, that's it.
What would you like your legacy to be when you feel, Stephen, that you have done everything that you can do in your life? How would you like people to remember you? But more importantly, how would you like your legacy to live?
Yeah. Like I mentioned before, I like to leave behind impacts. All right.
Mhm. I agree.
For my family, for my kids, for my wife, for everyone that has crossed my paths, I like to leave impacts. All right. Leaving an impact as a legacy is the best thing you can do in this world that we find ourselves.
I
All
agree.
right. Yeah, we've seen a situation where people leave lasting legacy for their children, their children's children, and up till today, they still enjoy that legacy that is left by their parents.
Yes.
So basically, that is what I want to do.
Hmm.
I want my grandchildren to look back and say, yeah, grandpa was a great guy. He did this and that and that. They can see it, they can feel it around, you
Mm.
know. Yeah, they can hear people talk about stuffs, so that's what I want to do. And that's what I'm praying that God should help
It happens every day. You pray. I say prayers are powerful to everyone, regardless, like I say, of religion, of who you are as a person. What you put out in the world, you manifest back in. I would love for everyone to be able to find out more about you, Mr. Steve. Can you tell us where they can find you, where they can, come and see your show? If there's tickets still available, where can people find you and all the people that you've helped?
me. All right, so basically, you can find Mr. Steve on all social media platforms. I'm based in Nigeria, Africa.
Hmm.
I'm based in a city that is called Abuja, the federal capital city of Nigeria. That's
Yes.
where I apply my trade and I travel around to do my stuff. So,
Yes.
but on social media, you can follow me at on Instagram. I'm at official Mr. Steve One. All right. So
Mhm.
all together, official Mr. Steve One. You can
I like
find
that.
me on Instagram. That then you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook at Steve Hilarious, Steve Hilarious, or Mr. Steve One on Facebook, Mr. Steve CFR. I have two Facebook handles. One is Steve Hilarious, and then
Hmm.
the other is Mr. Steve CFR. That CFR means Comedian of the Federal Republic.
I like that.
So basically that's that. I'm on Twitter
Hmm.
at official Mr. Steve One.
Hmm.
So I think basically these are the platforms that I'm active at the moment.
Stephen, I want to thank you for taking your time to come on the show today, for showing your
Thank you so much.
personality,
Thank you.
telling your story, and helping people
Thank you.
understand no matter your pathway, you still have purpose. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll just mention one thing.
Of
My,
course.
my show, my show is happening on the 20th
Hmm.
of October. That's this Sunday that's coming up, 20th of October, and we will be streaming online, but it's
Hmm.
pay per view. So
Yes.
we're reaching out to people in Europe, in the UK, in the US. So you can stream on engagetv.com. You can stream on engagetv.com. Of course, I'm sure that you guys have the materials. So you just see a fee that you need to pay to connect into the show.
Hmm.
I'm having some of the finest comedians in Nigeria that will be on my show. I
Yes.
have Kenny Black, I have Mr. Paul, I have Forever, I have a Shortcut, Chips the General, and a whole lot of comedians that will be performing. So it's going to be a very hilarious moment. It's something. It's going to be exciting. The stage is going to be rocking with these guys. Cracking, rip cracking jokes. Some of them have been in the UK to do shows before with the likes of Basket Mouth and AY and all
Hmm.
that. So you will find them on my show. So you can stream on Engage TV. All right. Once you get in there, you just pay a token and then you're on the show watching us live.
Right, guys. So please support, especially support Mr. Steve, but also support the comedians that are around Mr. Steve, and just
Yeah.
uplifting themselves to do great things and bring therapy to you with laughter. That's what
Yeah.
I call it, therapy with laughter. And this is where I say, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching and listening the Ask People Show. Please remember, you can subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or any other platform that you prefer listening to. Please remember, you can listen to us and this interview on Wednesday when we'll be repeating it again. on Heart Songs Live at 9 p.m. UK time. You can also listen to the Us People podcast, which is on every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we have a new podcast which is out for you. You can also go on the Savia Rocks website. And you can also go on the Us People podcast website for more information, guys. And this is where I say thank you so much for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another. Take care.
Thank you.
Peace of mind, peace of mind, peace of mind.
People say that having a peace of mind is trying to find a consistency of calmness within ourselves, to crave for a clarity that drives us through our emotional journey of life, to never let a person's judgment manifest into a fear inside of us.